to be part of that. So again, I mean, we can keep going on and on for ages, but thank you again, Maharaj, for coming. And thank you, Nitai Karuna Prabhu, for putting me on the spot. Hare Krishna.
Do I need this? Wow. So, my dear devotees, I will begin by singing the Mangala Charana prayers and leading a short kirtan, and then I will speak from Srimad Bhagavatam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnava Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Sam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Kanditam Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Guru Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Tasya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda
Jaya Sri Krishna Prabhu Nityananda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parikada Charya Svaja Sattasi Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jaya. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jaya. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parikada Charya Svaja Sattasi Srimad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jaya. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jaya. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jaya. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, my dear devotees. We shall read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, Pure Devotional Service, Text 23. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Please repeat. Jivan Shava Bhagavata Angri Renum Na Jatu Martya Abhilabheta Ya Tu Shri Vishnupadya Manuja Tulasya Shvasan Shava Ya Tu Naveda Gandam Jivan Chavo Bhagavatangri Renum Najatu Martyo Bilabeta Yastu Shri Vishnupadya Manujastu Lasya Shvasan Chavo Yastu Naveda Gandam Jivan Chavo Bhagavatangri Renum Najatu Martyo Bilabeta Yastu Shri Vishnupadya Manujastu Lasya Swasan Shavo Yastu Naveda Gandam Jivan while living Shava a dead body Bhagavatangri Renu the dust of the feet of a pure devotee Na never Jatu at any time Martya mortal Abhilabeta, particularly received. Ya, a person who, but, Shri, with opulence. Vishnupadya, the lotus feet of Vishnu. Manuja, a descendant of Manu, a man. Tulasya, leaves of the Tulsi tree. Swasan, while breathing. Shava, still a dead body. Ya, who, but, Naveda, never experienced. Gandham, the aroma. Translation. The person who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. Please repeat. A person who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. Report by Srila Prabhupada. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the breathing dead body is a ghost. When a man dies, he is called dead. But when he again appears in a subtle form, not visible to our present vision, and yet acts, such a dead body is called a ghost. So how many of you believe in ghosts? Yeah, they exist. Ghosts are always very bad elements, always creating a fearful situation for others. So ghosts, generally, if someone commits suicide, he becomes a ghost. Because in effect, he's saying that he doesn't want to have a gross body. So he commits suicide. So he doesn't have a gross body, he has a subtle body as a ghost. But generally people commit suicide because they have strong material desires which are not fulfilled. So the ghost has strong material desires, but does not have a gross physical body through which to fulfill the desires. And so ghosts often try to possess the body of a regular person. Another way a person becomes a ghost is if he's very attached to his residence, his castle, his palace. And at the time of death, he thinks of his castle. So he can't take birth as a castle. That's not one of the 8,400,000 forms of life, but he can take birth as a ghost in that castle to which he was so attached that he was thinking of it at the time of death. And so often haunted houses are put on the market for a very less price because people don't want to buy a haunted house. But Srila Prabhupada said that we can buy the haunted houses at a good rate, and then we can perform Harinam Sankirtan, and then all the ghosts will go away, and we'll have a good property, good facility as a used as a temple without having to pay much. So there was a movie called Ghosts. I heard about it from His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, who had somehow seen it. And he thought that the person who had written the script must have read Srila Prabhupada's books because the script really accurately portrayed ghosts. And it just so happened that I took a flight during which they showed the movie Ghosts. And since it was recommended by the Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, I watched it. And there is one scene, of course there are many, but there is one scene where the ghost is on a railway platform and there's a vending machine and he wants to get cigarettes. But he doesn't have money. He's just a ghost and he's like he's banging on the vending machine trying to get cigarettes. He's very, very frustrated. So, yeah, but if by chance we're attacked by a ghost, sometimes it happens. So we should loudly chant the holy name, and the ghost will go away. Ghosts are always very bad elements, always creating a fearful situation for others. Similarly, the ghost-like non-devotees who have no respect for the pure devotees, nor for the Vishnu deity in the temples, always create a fearful situation for the devotees. The Lord never accepts such offerings from such impure ghosts. So yeah, the Lord accepts offerings only from devotees, not from non-devotees. There is a common saying that one should first love the dog of the beloved before one shows any loving sentiments for the beloved. So what's the point of this? Can anyone guess what is the point here? Yes. Yes. There is a common saying that one should first love the dog of the beloved before one shows any loving sentiments for the beloved. The stage of pure devotion is attained by sincerely serving a pure devotee of the Lord. The first condition of devotional service to the Lord is therefore to be a servant of a pure devotee. And this condition is fulfilled by the statement, reception of the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee who has also served another pure devotee. That is the way of pure disciplic succession or devotional parampara. So yes, we must receive the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee. If we can literally, then we are fortunate. In Srila Prabhupada's last days in Vrindavan, I got the chance to massage his lotus feet, and I felt some dust. It was magnified in my consciousness, but I felt these little particles of dust from the lotus feet of the pure devotee. But in general terms, it means to follow the instructions of the pure devotee. So the first condition of devotional service to the Lord is therefore to be a servant of a pure devotee. And this condition is fulfilled by the statement, reception of the dust of the lotus feet of the pure devotee who has served another pure devotee. This is the way of pure disciplic succession or devotional parampara. So yes, we serve our spiritual master, who in turn served his spiritual master, who in turn served his spiritual master, all the way back to Krishna. Maharaj Rahugana inquired from the great saint Jad Bharat as to how he had attained such a liberated stage of a Paramahamsa. And in answer, the great saint replied as follows. Srimad Bhagavatam 5:12. Rahuganaita tapasanayati nache jaya nirvapanad grihadva chandasanai vajalagni suryayar vina mahatpadarajo bhishekam. O King Rahugana, the perfectional stage of devotional service, or the Paramahamsa stage of life, cannot be attained unless one is blessed by the dust of the feet of great devotees. So Pada Raja, that means the dust of the feet. Mahat Pada Raja, the dust of the feet of great souls. Abhishekam means to actually bathe oneself, do abhishek of the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee. O King Rahugana, the perfectional stage of devotional service, or the Paramahamsa stage of life, cannot be attained unless one is blessed by the dust of the feet of great devotees. It is never attained by tapasya, austerity, the Vedic worshipping process, acceptance of the renounced order of life, the discharge of the duties of household life, the chanting of the Vedic hymns, or the performance of penances in the hot sun, within cold water, or before the blazing fire. And there's a similar verse in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj, his father, the great demon, Hiranyakashipu, asked him how he had become Krishna conscious. And he replied that he became Krishna conscious by being blessed by the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord's pure devotee. And In effect, he told his father, you don't have to worry about becoming Krishna conscious because you're too puffed up. You will never bow down to the feet of the Lord's pure devotee. Now, Shamati Stava Rukramambim Spishat Yanartha Pagamo Yadartha Mahir Shan Pada Rajobi Shekam Miskinchananam Navranitayava. In other words, Lord Sri Krishna is the property of his pure, unconditional devotees. And as such, only the devotees can deliver Krishna to another devotee. Krishna is never obtainable directly. Lord Chaitanya therefore designated himself as Gopi Bhartu Padakabalayor Dasa Das Anudasa, or the most obedient servant of the servants of the Lord, who maintains the Gopi damsels at Vrindavan. So yes, this is a further explanation of being the servant of the servant of the servant, which is achieved through parampara, serving one's guru, who serves what's his guru, who serves his guru, and so on. The Lord Chaitanya therefore designated himself as Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayur Dasa Das Anudasa, or the most obedient servant of the servants of the Lord, who maintains the Gopsi damsels at Vrindavan. A pure devotee, therefore, never approaches the Lord directly, but tries to please the servant of the Lord's servants. And thus the Lord becomes pleased. And only then can the devotee relish the taste of the tulsi leaves stuck to the Lord's lotus feet. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord is never to be found by becoming a great scholar of the Vedic literatures, but he is very easily approachable through his pure devotee. Yes. Vedeshu Durlabha, Adurlabha Atma Bhakti. Vedeshu Durlabha, very difficult through the study of the Vedas, but Vedeshu Durlabha, Adurlabha Atma Bhakti, but easy to the devotee. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord is never to be found by becoming a great scholar of the Vedic literatures, Vedeshu Durlabha, but he is very easily approachable through his pure devotee, Adurlabha Atma Bhakti. In Vrindavan, all the pure devotees pray for the mercy of, yes, you are high-class devotees. In Vrindavan, all the pure devotees pray for the mercy of Srimati Radharani, the pleasure potency of Lord Krishna. Srimati Radharani is a tender-hearted feminine counterpart of the Supreme Whole, resembling the perfectional stage of the worldly feminine nature. Therefore, the mercy of Radharani is available very readily to the sincere devotees. And once she recommends a devotee to Lord Krishna, the Lord at once accepts the devotee's admittance into his association. Yes, in Radharani's Dham, Varshvana, there is a saying that whatever Radha does, Krishna likes. And whatever Radha likes, Krishna does. So Krishna likes to recommend you, Krishna will do it. He will accept you. mercy of Radharani is available very readily to the sincere devotees. And once she recommends such a devotee to Lord Krishna, the Lord at once accepts the devotee's admittance into his association. The conclusion is, therefore, that one should be more serious about seeking the mercy of the devotee than that of the Lord directly. And by one's doing so, by the goodwill of the devotee, the natural attraction for the service of the Lord will be revived. So yeah, we are most fortunate to have come in touch with a pure devotee, such as Srila Prabhupada, and his followers also. And yeah, by serving his lotus feet or directly or indirectly through disciplic succession, one can achieve all success. And we should use every moment to advance in Krishna consciousness. I like to quote a statement Srila Prabhupada made in a talk in Los Angeles. If you have got time, chant Hare Krishna. Don't waste time. Don't speak nonsense. Chant Hare Krishna. So, yeah, whatever time we have, we should use it for chanting Hare Krishna, hearing about Krishna, rendering service to Krishna, serving the devotees of Krishna, and yeah, and our lives are sublime. So, my dear devotees, thank you for listening so patiently and attentively. And now, if any of you have any questions or any comments, any reflections you would like to share. Yes.
Thank you so much, Raj, for conducting so many wonderful programs every single day. I actually have a question I've been waiting all day to ask you because I listened to your Bhagavatam class this morning. They gave on Canto 2, Chapter 3, verse 22 on Zoom. But I was unfortunately at my office, so my attention was diverted right as you said something especially interesting. It was a class about Srila Prabhupada. So I recalled the class was about listening and chanting. But I recall you saying that Srila Prabhupada asked some devotees what the most important verse was.
Yeah.
And the devotee, their guess was Harinam, Harinam Kevalam, and Srila Prabhupada said no. And then I didn't get the answer because I was drawn to something else. So what was Prabhupada's correction as to
Yeah, yes. Yes, Guru Kripa Prabhu. Yeah, what is the most important verse in the Vedic literature? Harinam, 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 Kevalam, Nasadeva, Nasadeva, Nasadeva. And Srila Prabhupada said no. And then he cited the verse, Yasya Deve Parabhaktir Tatadeve Tadava Pasyate Kakashanti Maha. That one who has firm faith in spiritual master and similar faith in the Vedic literatures, to all the purports of the Vedic literatures are revealed. So that was Srila Prabhupada's answer. What is the most important verse in the Vedic literature?
Thank you.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. So, you when you were reading the purport, you were reading about post and So we are currently not in the pure devotional stage. When we chant in front of non-devotees, they get angry and frustrated with us and try to instigate us. How can we be sure that if we ever, like, if God forbid, that we encounter a ghost, they won't get more angry when we are chanting?
I didn't, well, I mean, the Prabhupada said one should hear the holy name from the lips of pure devotee. And then one person asked Srila Prabhupada, well, what about them, people hearing from us? And Srila Prabhupada said, well, you heard it from us, from me, and they're hearing it from you, so it's as good as they're hearing it. But was it something about angry?
I mean, so similarly applies to ghost as well. Like,
Sorry?
similarly applies to ghost as well. They are creating the scary situation, and if we are chanting Hare Krishna, we wouldn't want ghost to be angry on us, but to go away.
Oh, why should a ghost be angry if he chants Hare Krishna? They'll be happy. The Rupa Goswami lists 6 characteristics of pure devotional service who are prominent in the state of sadhana bhakti, who are prominent in the state of bhava bhakti, and who are prominent in the state of prema bhakti. And one of the characteristics that's applicable in sadhana bhakti is that it is all auspicious for all, including ghosts.
Thank you, Maharaj, for the wonderful discourse. So, Maharaj, my question is around pure devotee. Does a pure devotee ever accept they are pure devotee? Number one. But we do understand from the definition from Shastra the characteristic of pure devotee, who a pure devotee is. But everybody has a different meter, and you can only measure at your level. So ocean is so depth, right? But if your ability is to go up to only 10 meter, you cannot really measure the depth of like an ocean. So that becomes very subjective to an individual, how depth they are situated. So their vision will become that purified. Because I have not seen our movement, a pure devotee like you or many others accepting calling, but we understand from the definition, but we don't have that vision. So how do we assimilate all of these together?
Well, once Srila Prabhupada was asked how many pure devotees are there in the world, Srila Prabhupada replies, how many devotees are there in this country? So, and he also explained giving the example of a mango, that a mango is a mango, whether it's unripe or ripe. So one can be considered a pure devotee from the very beginning, but he's more like an unripe mango. But if he continues with the process of bhakti yoga, then he will mature and become like a ripened mango. And then he'll be sweet and juicy, which may not be the case in the beginning. But still, he is considered a pure devotee, but in an immature stage of development. And Rupa Goswami lists different stages, adho shraddha, tata sadhu sangha, tata bhajana kriya, ruchi, asakti, bhava, and prema. And yeah, one can be a pure devotee even in an earlier state, a pure devotee in the sense that he's not engaging in devotional service to get any material gain. Yeah. Anyavilasika Sunyam, Rupa Goswami gives a definition of pure devotional service. Anyavilasika Sunyam, without any other desire. Jnana Karmadi Navritam, not covered by jnana or karma or any other process. Anukulyena, to be favorable for Krishna's pleasure. Anushilanam. Anu means to follow or continuous. So it's a continuous cultivation. Bhakti Utama, that is your devotional service. We can do that from the very beginning. We should do that.
Krishna Maharaj, it was a wonderful class. Okay. So Maharaj, speaking about the goals, I was just thinking, we have come across several instances in the scriptures. Like there is one particular instance where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur happened to deliver one of his disciples who was in the ghostly form because of some offenses in the past life. Also, in the contemporary situation, also we have come across several instances in Mayapur. I personally know one of our senior devotees from Mumbai. You know, he was on yatra, and how right in the daylight in the assembly of the devotees while he was delivering the lecture, you know, a couple of ghosts entered one Mataji's body, and that lasted for several days during the yatra. So until, you know, the ghost started demanding the dust from the lotus feet of that particular devotee. So, and long back I had heard one Sunday office lecture from Bhakti Vigyan Goswami Maharaj, who spoke about how inattentive chanting can lead to fall down and eventually lead to a ghostly existence. This is from one of the books of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So how do we understand this? How do we look at this? Because it sounds sometimes scary. Of course, we don't speak about these things in the assembly of, you know, newcomers. We don't want to scare them. But how do we understand the same chanting, the very means of the deliverance? How can it cause the fall down or inattentive chanting? Sorry.
Well, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that by attentive chanting, all the other offenses are eradicated. And by inattentive chanting, all the other offenses can flourish. So that's very important to chant attentively. I've facilitated numerous japa workshops and japa retreats. And I did one with Mahatma Prabhu. And he said that that devotees have become very expert at using their left hand, because when their right hand is in their japa beads, their left hand is tidying up, checking their emails and phones. So, so it shouldn't be like that. But when we chant, we should just chant and nothing else. And he also quoted a devotee who said that that he used to think that his japa was getting in the way of his life. But now he thinks his life is getting in the way of his japa. Is there something in your question that I didn't address?
Yeah, the confusion that comes to my mind is how can the holy name, even if it is inattentive, because there are verses also in Padma Puran and Vishnu Puran Like even if, chanted inattentively.
Yeah,
well,
just keep chanting.
Yeah,
So what's the question?
yeah, but how can it lead to a ghostly existence? That's mentioned by Masul Thakur in one of his books.
Well, I never heard that. I think I would have to see the full context because it doesn't seem like that would be the usual case. In the usual case, it would be that by chanting you make spiritual progress and you can even free ghosts by chanting, free them from their ghostly existence. So yeah, I'd have to see the full context to be able to respond properly.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. About the ghost. This I used to be scared when I was younger, but not anymore. With this topic, today I'm remembering my sister. She committed suicide when she was 29.
Oh,
So I'm sure she's in that body, so ghostly body. So my question is how she can come out from that ghostly body? Is there a way there's some priestly person can do something, or she has to go through certain times, or she can come out?
well, you can pray for her. There's also the Shraddha ceremony for departed souls, and you keep the person's picture, and you offer them prasad. In other words, the food is already offered to the Lord, and it becomes prasad, and then you offer the prasad to the picture of the deceased person, and that can help them make the progress wherever they are. Yeah.
Thank you, Manas.
Then goes in goes
Yes.
like can I talk to you?
Sorry,
Can goes talk to you?
to me?
Us, like us.
Oh, true.
Then
Well, they can enter your mind and you put thoughts in your mind. Once Bhavananda Prabhu was giving Srila Prabhupada a massage, and he said sometimes he gets thoughts that just aren't him. They're just not things that he would think. So is it possible that those thoughts are being put in his mind by a ghost? And Srila Prabhupada said, yes, it's possible. So, yeah. But, good attentive chanting always helps. How old are you? Do you chant rounds? You chant one round a day? Okay. You try. Well, authorities recommend that you keep some minimum. And whatever the minimum is, you chant without fail. And if by chance you miss, then you make up what you miss. So you think you can commit to one round a day? Okay, good.
Together? Together?
You can do the next.
So in the Toronto Temple in 1972, the devotees were up in the Toronto Temple attic on the Gerrard Street Temple. They were up in the attic and they were moving books around from previous tenants. They're moving books around and reorganizing. And then that night, all the devotees in the temple got attacked by ghosts. And so we were all very frightened. So the temple president told us to just chant all the time. And so I had heard that Prabhupada said, if you open the Bhagavatam at your head and put it at your head, that they won't attack you. So I didn't get attacked. But Praharna was seeing the ghost manifest in front of her and then disintegrate. Several devotees were being attacked by the ghosts. So one of the devotees' relatives had a sister who was clairvoyant. So they called her. They asked her, can you help us? Of course, we were chanting Hare Krishna like anything. And so this person came to the temple and she rang the bell and we answered the door and she said, I'm here to get them. We were all really scared. So in the mic.
Much better. Look at my.
Jeez, well, you kids hear me.
Battery.
So the lady came to the temple and she said, I've come to get them. So she walked up the stairs. Said, where are they? And the devotees pointed to the attic. She was a very kind of tiny, frail person. But she thought there was no stairs to the attic. It was just the attic with a little door. So she opened the door and she hoisted herself up like a magician and just jumped up into the attic. And then we heard all this like crash and everything going on up there. So then she came down out of the attic, just looked down as if she was a magician. She said, I got them. She went downstairs, walked out the front door of the temple, and the ghosts are gone. So.
I remember.
The true story.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Rasi, I have a question. I'm her spokesperson. She's shy, only when she's in front of you. But we, my husband touched on this actually a couple programs ago, but we read All Those Years Temple, and we loved that book. And there was one part in the book that caught us really off guard. When it happened, our mouths dropped open and we just stared at each other for a moment. And it was, you were doing service, you were managing the temple, and the godbrother and you got in a huge argument, and he lost his temper, and what did the godbrother do? Yeah, he spat in your face, Maharaj. And do you remember what Maharaj's reaction was? What he did? We just chanted Hare Krishna. And we live in a day and age where we so easily lose our tempers if somebody looks at us wrong or parks too close to our car. So I was just wondering, how did you manage to maintain build that tolerance, maintain that tolerance, and when that happens, and we can be more like you. Something like that.
Yeah, I thought that might be the incident, actually. Well, I thought of Srila Prabhupada, and he always said, well, I mean, later he said, your love for me will be shown by how you cooperate. And yeah, I just didn't see any point in trying to retaliate. Just how better take shelter of the holy name. Let it pass. Yeah.
I heard that Srila Prabhupada once said that a Vaishnava is one who, is one who forgives an offender before the offense is even fully committed. Like before it's even.
Oh, wow. I thought you were going to say, and it's also sort of relevant that that a Vaishnava can be like measured by his ability to tolerate provoking situations.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All wishes to Prabhupada.
Online goes. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead. I just wanted to ask you about anarthas. Because it seems they're the most difficult to overcome. And especially the anartha of learning to be nonviolent, because Prabhupada describes in the Bhagavad Gita that nonviolence means to not put anyone in distress or to not hurt anyone's well-being or consciousness or upset them. So I'm trying to catch myself for not causing any distress to anyone. And I'm just wondering, do you practice, or I guess it comes naturally because you're advanced from your past life, but do you practice consciously not hurting any living entity? Do you consciously think about, oh, this is an anartha, this is not an anartha? Because you never get upset with people or situations, you're always calm. And it seems to me you don't have any anarthas. So how can we really get to that place where it's a pure life and we don't cause distress, we're non-violent to everyone? How can we get there, truly get there? By, pleasing Prabhupada, pleasing devotees, pleasing Krishna.
By prayer, by attentive chanting, by serious study. One of the items of devotional service is not to cause any pain in any living entity's mind. And way back, we first went to India, before we had Jubu or anything. I was in a shop with Gurudas, and the shopkeeper was overcharging. I thought he was overcharging, and I got upset, and I guess caused something in his mind. And afterwards, Gurudas corrected me, and he quoted that we shouldn't cause anything in the mind. Even though he was overcharging, but I could have dealt with it in a different way without causing him distress. So, we'll work on that.
We can make a checklist. We can make a checklist.
Oh,
Be conscious, and when situations happen, think about them and think, if I say this, would it cause distress to them? If I say something else, will it make it all right? So kind of like consciously thinking, because we're trying to go to the spiritual world, and we can't get in the door unless we are non-violent, non-envious, lovers of Krishna.
Yeah, we should think before we speak. Yeah. But- Thank you for that.
Now it's time for those questions.
Actually, we are turning away from the topic. Like we are more focusing on ghost than actual context is like we have to like pure devotee. We have to be lotus feet of Vishnu. But we are actually more focusing. We are turning away towards ghost conversation.
Well, ghosts are part of the discussion. Part of-
Krishna, what's your evening? How was your evening? I was good evening.
Been great.
Have you had with ghosts or experience?
What's my experience with ghosts? Oh, occasionally, not very often. It hasn't happened for a while, but occasionally I do feel when I'm taking rest, feel I'm being attacked by a ghost, and then I just chant loudly and they go away.
Don't know. In near the support of the I mean the verse, if I remember right, and please correct me, basically says that the dust of the feet of the Vaishnava also does not forget the offense that is created towards the Vaishnava. You know, especially by those who are materialistic, who have material tendencies. I believe this is a relationship with Daksha. And the difficulty is then, you know, at my stage, when there is considerable contamination, almost seems as if I should keep away from the dust of the feet of a pure devotee. Because if I get made more trouble, then I start it up.
Oh, yeah, the statement is that, yeah, the dust of the feet of the pure devotee deliver you, but if you offend the dust of the feet of the pure devotee, you can be degraded. So it can work both ways. Yeah, we have to be careful. But yeah, but I think in your case, you shouldn't shy away from being with the devotees. I'm sure that you can please them with your service. You have a good wife and daughter to help you stay on the proper path. Yeah.
question. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it talks about the custom of Jaipur and how, I forgot the monarch's name, but he was carrying the palanquin and the king was offending him, and Jaipur, I think the translations mention that he was hurt by the words of the monarch when he was offending him. So how do devotees, like pure devotees in a sense, are they completely detached from offenses of like non-devotees, or how do they react to it? Because I don't know, Prabhupada was saying that reports that Jaipur was feeling really hurt even because the king was offending him, even though he was a pure devotee.
Yeah, the pure devotee can be hurt when someone offends him, not on his personal account, but because he knows that the offense will be bad for the offender. And as the well-wisher of everyone, he would feel sorry if someone is hurting their spiritual lives by committing offenses. But on his own account, he doesn't mind.
The previous version. So, in a positive way, how should we approach a pure devotee when pure devotee is in our midst? How should we serve them so that they may be pleased to get the best of the lotus feet?
You follow their instructions. That's the general principle. You follow their instructions. And if you want to render some specific service, you can ask them, what can I do to please you?
Is that something in general that we could ask when we meet a pure devotee? Is that a good way to approach by asking how can we serve you so that we can please?
Why not? Once a disciple asked Srila Prabhupada, how can I please you? And Srila Prabhupada replied, just by your desire to please me, you're pleasing me.
One more audience question and then one last online question.
Maharaj, I have a question. I was thinking, with Varahadev, when being insulted by Hiranyaksh, he was feeling really bad. So, even Lord was hurt. So, I was thinking it's the same thing that Hiranyaksh was coming to the house into the light. Can you leave it at that?
Can you repeat that? I missed something.
Varahadev, when.
Oh, Varahadev.
Yeah. Varahadev, when he was having this encounter with Hiranyaksh, so he was really insulting Varahadev. And Varahadev said in Srimad Bhagavatam that he was really hurt by him. And when we see the Dura was hurt. So when the Lord can get hurt, what to speak of the
Yes. Yes, very good point. Very relevant.
Maharaj, Champakratha Sati Mataji is asking, when I chant in the morning, my japa is good, but the days when I chant later during the day, my mentality becomes somehow that my chanting will be very bad. Before even I start japa, my mindset is that japa will be bad and I chant it at the time. How to chant nicely at any time of it?
Well, to begin, it's good to get up early and chant early. I saw a picture of Kalakanta Prabhu here. And he says that then the best advice he gives devotees is to take rest early. Because if they take rest early, they can get up early and then they can engage in their spiritual practices early. But otherwise, yeah, we just chant. Yeah, anytime, like Kirtaniya Sadhari. And we shouldn't have the expectation that our chanting will be bad. That's, I think of one of His Holiness Sridhar Swami's favorite sayings. There's no utility to negativity. So don't have a negative attitude towards chanting later, but just, yeah, pray to the holy name and Srila Prabhupada, the Parampara, and ask them to help you. And yeah, there's no reason why you can't chant good japa later in the day.
There are no more amendments. Thank you so much, Maharaj. I again apologize for the delay calls. Otherwise, we would have spent more time. But can we all chant Hare Krishna loudly once again to thank Maharaj? Hare Bol, Hare Bol. I also want to announce Maharaj has put so much effort, whatever the time Maharaj has spent with Prabhupada writing all the books, and Maharaj has brought all these books for us right at the room. So whoever does not have the copy, please get one copy and Maharaj will sign it for you. I have all the copies. So please get all of them. If you have a copy, get a second one.
Very much. Maharaj, when could I possibly relate that story to you about the eating offering? When could I tell you?
Hare Krishna, everyone. We have cookies. Sorry, we forgot to mention. We have cookies for everybody.